Alright, welcome everyone to another radio-free Cybertron review. I'm your host DaCa, and this has been a review I have been waiting for months and months to bring you. This is, of course, Kronos. Kronos is a masterpiece-styled Jetfire or Skyfire. It's actually brought to us by DaCa Toys. Wanted to give you a first look at the packaging. You can see the only thing I've done so far is I took off, there's a little piece of sticky tape to keep the lid closed in transit or in shipment, and it does actually have a magnetic front, so you can actually open it just like so and see the figure. My figure, of course, you can't really see his head too well. And also there were some pieces rattling around inside. I actually thought they were, I was worried something was broken when I heard something rattling around, but it's actually the two little pieces that clip onto the nose of the jet to make those little scoops on the side. I haven't actually opened this out of package yet. I wanted to give you guys a chance to see it, as it is out of the box. What's also nice is there's another cover that opens up so you can take Kronos out, which is really an awesome box. Unfortunately, mine was actually damaged and it's actually split. Oh, there goes the studio. It's actually split right at the bottom right there. So it's a little bit unfortunate. The UPS postage or the UPS shipping box is actually in good condition, so I'm assuming it was like this before it got into the box, or the figure's just so heavy that the box couldn't support it. It's a very, very heavy figure. Here's a side shot and the back shot. You can see this image was definitely photoshopped. He has some blue shoes on, a little red paint app right there on that leg, nothing on that leg. Some extra paint apps up top here, and an Autobot symbol that's actually not on the figure. And then you have the teaser photo that we all saw a lot early on this figure, with the jet in that gray, very dark gray shadowy figure. Come to the top of the box here, DaCa Toys Scientific Explorer Kronos, very nice. And you already saw the bottom, which is just DaCa Toys. Overall packaging is absolutely amazing. One of the best third-party packaging I've seen. It's just a shame that some of them are actually coming, a little bit broken. So that's it for the box. I'm going to get this guy opened, mess around with him a little bit. That way I can shoot the transformation. As you can see, Kronos is so big, I'm actually having a problem getting it shot in the viewing area that I want. He's just enormous. I took him out of the packaging. It does look like he was sliding around a bunch in the packaging. If you look at the backpack, if I take the backpack off, it actually has some white paint. That's actually from the back of Kronos. Nothing horrible, but just be aware, because Kronos actually sits kind of on this, and mine was sliding around in packaging, so some of the paint on the back and the front is a little bit worn. But he looks really good. Also with the backpack, I know people were having problems, or I saw one person where the backpack was kind of pulled away right here at this little flap. And you can see what I did is I actually I just put the flat back in place and tried and squeezed it together, and that seemed to fix the issue with the backpack. Also on the backpack, I'll note real quick, these wings, this wing will go both ways. This wing I can't fold down flat against his back, so I'll just have to fold it like that from the back, because it just will not, and I don't want to risk snapping it, so I don't want to force it, but it's kind of just, it won't fold flat against his back like this one. And that's pretty much the backpack. This is where those pieces tab into that were rolling around in the package for the nose. And then these are also very, very difficult to pop out. Trying to get these out with your finger, it's quite a task. You actually have to use a tool or something to pop it out. They actually have a little notch right there that to hold them in place. But in robot mode, you actually push them in. I'm not actually going to push them in right now. I don't want to have to try and dig them out when we're transforming him into robot mode. But this is actually the mode that he comes in, as you saw out of package. And also I want to thank the Chosen Prime for getting this figure out so quick. I mean, they received the figures on Monday and they shipped them out same day, which is absolutely amazing, which is why I have it today. Also, there is some scraping on the front pieces as well. Would have been really nice if they could have put a piece of plastic, you know, in between the figure, the front of the figure and the back of the figure, to try and eliminate some of those paint rubs. Really nice ratchet joints though, super, super nice. I definitely think there's some tightening up that needs to be done with some screws on this guy, but it seems like that's all it is, and that'll be a pretty easy fix for him. So when we come back, we'll transform him into jet mode. Okay, I took some time to, you know, transform him off screen for the first time, and he is gigantic. As you can see, I'm having problems keeping him in frame. I'd like to give you guys the ability to see the whole figure while I'm doing the transformation. Because he's so big, it's going to be hard to do that. That being said, a lot of the transformation on this guy is really scary. Now, as a lot of people said, you know, the figure as is, standing how it is right now, for $165 is worth the price of admission all day long. I love this figure. I think there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to point out, because I want to make sure people are aware of them so they can make a decision whether they want to purchase this figure or not. So that being said, let's get into the transformation. First thing you want to do on this guy is remove his gun, and his gun clips in really nice, or tabs in really nice into his hand. It's got a nice long tab on there. And you can see, actually see the slot goes all the way through his hand. And then the thumb, because a lot of people are interested in the thumb, it actually has two knuckles, but it doesn't go up or down. The two knuckles, which I think is fine. I know some people, you know, may not like that, but these hands are really good with, you know, top has 3 knuckles each, and then the bottom, the thumb, has 2. First thing we're going to do is we're going to bring that hand inside. That's the first thing you want to do. Get this guy ready for transformation. Same thing with this side. lift up the panel up there, and then the hinge just fold in a little bit. As you can see, there is a gap here between the two panels. There's no screw up top here to tighten it up, so that gap, if you have it, is something you're gonna have to live with. Also, on the back leg, the same thing. It does gap, and there's no screws up top on this back side to stop that gap from happening. They only have 2 screws on the bottom here and 1 up top at the the front of the knee. So if you're gapping right there, that's another thing you're gonna have to kind of deal with on the figure. Also, you can see the red paint is kind of coming through on the backpack here. Next thing you want to do is you want to remove this backpack, which all you have to do is slide up. Take the backpack off. We'll just put that to the side for now. And then we have the back of Kronos. What you want to do with the back of Kronos, back of Kronos, you just pop the whole back off. That little piece there fills in the chest, or fills in the side of the body. We're just going to pop that off to the side also. Now you have Kronos in without his backpack. The next thing we're going to want to do to get this thing ready is we're going to push the legs all the way in. And this is another part that kind of, you know what, let's do the feet first. The feet are also another thing that really scared me the first time I did this. I actually fought with the feet for a couple minutes trying to get them to fold in. You fold the toe in like that, then you fold the back all the way forward onto itself. Then you need to slide the whole foot back. And what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to be able to lock in back there, and this panel is supposed to lock into the front right there. I'm actually not going to push the foot in all the way. I'm actually scared it's going to break, and I definitely don't want to break his foot. So I'm just going to do a half transformation because, like I said, I just really don't want to break this guy. Next thing I'm going to do is compress the leg. And I didn't know if I was doing it right, but it kind of sounds scary, but it's really the only way to do it. And like I said, I'm going to do the same thing with this foot. These feet, sorry about working with a large figure like this. I know even the lighting's probably not the greatest just because I have my light set up a little bit further back. Bring the foot down and over, the toe in, and then this is supposed to slide back again. Like I said, I'm not going to transform the feet all the way. I just don't want to risk breaking it. And we'll collapse the leg. I want to make sure you can get a good hold of it. As you can see, it's not quite collapsed yet. Let's try this again. There we go. Now we have Kronos. Pretty much those are the steps you need to do to get him ready for transformation. And now let's go to the let's finish up the transformation on this guy. Sorry. Now we're at the front of the top of the chest. What you want to do is pop the arm off. This one already popped off. Pop these shoulder pieces up first. They kind of lock in the arms. These tabs are a little thin, so you definitely want to be careful with the tabs at the top here, not to break them off. And then I think there's a lot of genius in the design on this guy. I've never seen Transformers slide on, you know, long metal poles that long. These chest pieces, kind of want to undo them. They tab in the back right there. That big white peg is where they tab into. And then what we can do is we can pull this whole chest piece up, just like so. And then you clip in this plastic piece, the top of that clips into this metal panel. Anytime the plastic is clipping into the metal, it is really tight. I don't feel like it would break. Just know you do have to put a little bit of force into it. Okay, I'm back. Sorry guys if you heard that beeping. That was my computer telling me the battery was low and I had to plug in. Didn't actually expect for the review to take this long. This is the piece everyone's complaining about, the chest piece that's a little bit floppy. I actually think it's a really good design, because in order for these pieces to work, they have to give a little bit, otherwise they would break off. So what you want to do with these pieces is we're just going to hold these up out of the way, bring in the arms. They actually tab into the back. The first time they were actually a lot tighter. This time they were a little bit easier. And we're going to spread the legs as well. And they spread out a good distance. You want to turn these arms around. That way the red is facing the bottom. And they'll actually tab in. Sorry. It's flopping around only because I'm trying to show you the arm transformation. Actually, when he's in hand, it doesn't seem that floppy as it's coming up on camera. Pop that arm in. Bring this back. You want to make sure this is turned around, because see that little notch right there will tab in back there. And that holds those arms in. And now these top pieces, that same tab that holds it in robot mode, clips in, holds it right there. So you kind of got to pop these in the shoulder first and have a little bit of room to get it over that hump, which is why this piece has to have a little bit of play in it. I'll do that again on this side. Pop it in at the shoulder and pop it onto that metal back piece. And there you pretty much have Kronos in his jet mode. The only other thing you really need to do is bring out the front piece. There you got the nose cone out. And then I'll put him down for a second. And let me readjust the camera for you. See if it'll refocus. And then you want to take the backpack, unclip these. Additional air vents for the front of the nose. And they just pop on the front. right here. And they're actually angled, so only one side, you can't interchange them from side to side. One side is for one side's for the other. And they just peg in on the side. Now they do stick out a little bit. You can see there's a gap there. There's really no way. I didn't want to break it. I squeezed pretty hard, but there's still a little bit of a gap there. I guess if you wanted to, you could probably file down one of those pegs, or you would have to file down all of those pegs in order to get it in, but honestly, it really doesn't bother me. Like I said, the main purpose of this review is to show you guys the transformation and point out everything that I've noticed on this figure. That way, if something bothers you, or maybe, seeing my review, something doesn't bother you as much as you thought it would, then that's what I want to do. I just want to help. Like I said, I think the design on this is top notch. I think the factory could have did a better job, but it is what it is. And then on the backpack here, we want to flip down these pegs because these will actually attach into the legs. And then we'll just slide the backpack on. Bring up the leg. Attach those in. Attach that in. Just like that. And then all we have to do now is bring the wings down. And that is Kronos in his jet mode. Let me back up for you, give you a full shot. And he is really heavy. And I really like him. I'm so glad I picked him up. I'm a Skyfire fan, always been. One of the only VHS tapes I had of Transformers when I was a kid was Fire in the Sky. So I used to watch that single Transformers episode over and over again. It's probably one of the only Transformers episodes that are actually burned into my brain. Again, I really want to thank Chosen Prime for getting this out as fast as he did. And I want to thank DaCa Toys for bringing this to us. It's definitely an awesome figure. I highly recommend picking it up. If you're a Masterpiece collector, if you're a Skyfire fan, even if you're a Jetfire fan, I mean, I think it's close enough to Jetfire to warrant it. I would definitely recommend picking it up. Like I said, I don't want to transform the feet all the way, just because I'm really scared to break them. And mine's probably going to be in robot mode anyway. And even with the feet partially transformed, it still looks okay. And before I transform him again, one thing I did forget, I just saw it laying on the side there, is I forgot to put on his removable part, which doesn't deter from robot mode at all, but I'll just slide it in here and clip it on. It looks like I actually have to remove the backpack to do it. So, as you can see, he's very sturdy with the backpack. Unclip him real quick. And then this just clips on in the same spot it did before. And then you can put the backpack back on. or I should say the top half of his jet is probably the better thing to say. And there you go. Now Kronos is in jet mode. Now that piece you could honestly leave off if you really want to. And we'll be back. Alright, we have Kronos back in his robot mode. I'm just going to click in his gun real quick. As everyone wants to see Kronos with his gun. And then for a size comparison, let's see who I have laying around here. This is probably a good size comparison for you. You can see Kronos is the top of Scoria's snout is up to the top of the Kronos' shoulder. So he is an extra large bot. Here he is with another MP. MP Prowl. And Kronos is just very, very impressive. Let's see. Put him. Generations Drift. Movie Drift. I actually don't think I have anyone big enough to put next to Kronos other than maybe Metroplex. I don't even think that's a fair comparison to this guy. This is just an awesome figure, and I highly recommend picking it up. It does have a little... It does have some stiff joints and some gapping issues, but nothing really horrible. Nothing to deter me from buying this figure. The face sculpt is one of the best I've seen for a character in a long time. Ratchet joints everywhere. The shoulders are ratchets. The arms are on a double hinge. You can actually see the double hinge right there. The legs are on a nice ratchet with an upper thigh swivel, and it looks like so you can do your crouching pose with Kronos. He is a lot of fun, and I can't say enough about this figure. I hope you guys enjoy him as much as I do. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, like us on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter. Everything in the description below. Thank you guys.